Roman Piso family wrote the New Testament, invented Jesus. We Jews and C.G. Church leaders have known since the beginning of Christianity that it was synthesized by the Roman Piso family for the purpose of maintaining control over the masses and to placate slaves. And this is why we Jews are the chosen people, and why we have endured so much for so many years. We are witnesses to the lie. Our ancestors wrote what they could about this in our texts. From Chapter 1, the True Authorship of the New Testament. The New Testament, the Church, and Christianity, were all the creation of the Calpurnius Piso, pronounced Peso with long e, family, who were Roman aristocrats. The New Testament and all the characters in it, Jesus, all the Josephs, all the Marys, all the disciples, apostles, Paul, and John the Baptist are all fictional. The Pisos created the story and the characters. They tied the story into a specific time and place in history, and they connected it with some peripheral actual people, such as the Herods, Gamaliel, the Roman procurators, etc. But Jesus and everyone involved with him were created, that is, fictional characters. In the middle of the 1st century of our present era, Rome's aristocracy felt itself confronted with a growing problem. The Jewish religion was continuing to grow in numbers, adding ever more proselytes. Jews numbered more than 8 million, and were 10% of the population of the empire and 20% of that portion living east of Rome. Approximately half or more of the Jews lived outside Palestine, of which many were descended from proselytes, male and female. However, Judaism's ethics and morality were incompatible with the hallowed Roman institution of slavery on which the aristocracy fed, lived and ruled. They feared that Judaism would become the chief religion of the empire. The Roman author, Annaeus Seneca, tutor and confidant of Emperor Nero, suggested in a letter to his friend Lucilius, a pseudonym of Lucius Piso, that lighting candles on Sabbaths be prohibited. Seneca is later quoted by Saint Augustine in his City of God. Although the quotation does not exist in Seneca's extant writings, as charging that the Sabbath customs of that most accursed nation have gained such strength that they have been now received in all lands. The conquered have given laws to the conqueror. The family headed by Seneca's friend, Lucius Piso, was confronted with an allied problem more personal to it. They were the Calpurnius Pisos, who were descended from statesmen and consuls, and from great poets and historians as well. Gaius and Lucius Calpurnius Piso, leaders of the family, had both married Arria the Younger, from her grandfather's name, Aristobulus. This made Gaius, and Lucius Piso's wife, the great-granddaughter of Herod the Great. Repeatedly, religious-minded Judean zealots were staging insurrections against the Herodian rulers of Judea who were Piso's wife's relations. Piso wished to strengthen his wife's family's control of the Judeans. The Pisos searched for a solution to the two problems. They found it in the Jewish holy books, which were the foundation both for the rapid spread of the religion and for the zealots' refusal to be governed by Rome's puppets. The Pisos mocked, but marveled at, the Jewish belief in their holy books. Therefore, they felt a new Jewish book would be the ideal method to pacify the Judeans and strengthen their in-laws' control of the country. About the year 60 AD CE, Lucius Calpurnius Piso composed Marcus, the first version of the Gospel of Mark, which no longer exists. He was encouraged by his friend Seneca, and assisted by his wife's kinsman, young Perseus the poet. Nero's mistress, later his wife, Poppaea, was pro-Jewish, and Nero opposed the plan. The result was the Pisanian conspiracy to assassinate Nero, detailed in the historian Tacitus. But this attempt failed when he aborted the plot. Instead, Nero had Piso and Seneca and their fellow conspirators executed by forcing them to commit suicide. He exiled Piso's young son Arius, spelled Arius, herein, who appears in Tacitus under several names, including Antonius Natalis. Nero sent young Piso to Syria as governor. That post also gave him command of the legions controlling Judea. His own history records his service in Judea in the year 65 under the name of Gestius Florus, and in 66 with the pseudonym Cestius Gallus. This Arius Calpurnius Piso deliberately provoked the Jewish revolt in 66 so he could destroy the temple in Jerusalem. For the Jews were unwilling to accept his father's story and thereby become pacified by it as it was intended. However, his 12th legion was caught by the Zealots in the pass of Beth Horon and almost lost. Nero's reaction was to exile him instead to Pannonia, to command a legion there, and to send Licinius Mucinus to serve in Syria, and Vespasian to Judea to put down the Jewish revolt. Then in 68, Nero was assassinated by his own slave Epaphroditus. Who unknown to his master was young Piso's lackey. Galba became emperor and named Piso's cousin, Licinianus Piso, as his intended successor, but Galba in turn was soon overthrown by Otho. Otho was then overthrown by Vitellius, at which point Piso and his friends began to flock together against the latter. The Pisos, Mucinus, and Tiberius Alexander all joined ranks behind Vespasian to seek to overthrow Vitellius. The were joined by Frontinus and Agricola. Arius Calpurnius Piso was still commanding the 7th Legion in Pannonia, Austria, Hungary, and Vespasian sent him, now appearing in Tacitus with the name Marcus Antonius Primus, south across the Alps to overthrow Vitellius. Meanwhile, the main body of Vespasian's legions marched overland under Mucinus from the east towards Rome. Piso succeeded in defeating Vitellius' army and secured Rome for Vespasian. Mucinus arrived and promptly sent him to Judea to help Titus at the siege of Jerusalem. He did so, and in 70 they assaulted the city, then the temple, burned it, slaughtered many thousands, sent thousands more to slavery and gladiatorial combat and death. Then, Arius Calpurnius Piso wrote in sequence the following: Gospel of Matthew, 70–75 CE, present Gospel of Mark, 75–80 CE, Gospel of Luke, 85–90 CE. With help of Pliny the Younger, in the Gospel story he inserted himself by playing the role of not only Jesus, but of all the Josephs as well. He particularly enjoyed assuming the identity of Joseph. Wishing to create a Jewish hero, a savior, in fictional form, he, and his father before him, felt the identity of a second Joseph secretly, but very aptly fit them. For their name Piso had the same 4 letters, rearranged as the 4 Hebrew letters, Yud Vav Samek Fe, which in that language spelled the name Joseph. Thus they saw themselves as the new Joseph. That is why so much of the story of Joseph in Egypt is secretly redone and inserted the gospel story of Jesus. Reference: A. The vowels are pronounced as in, Vito, and, Miso. B. Klausner, Joseph, From Jesus to Paul, Macmillan Co. 1943, pp 33–34. C. Salo Baron, A Social and Religious History of the Jews, Columbia University Press, NY and Jewish Publication Society, Philadelphia, 1952, Volume 1, pp 170–171. D. Seneca, Ad Lucilium Epistuli Moralis, Volume 3, Epistle XCV.47, pp 87–89. E. St. Augustine, City of God, Modern Library, Random House, 1950, 611, p. 202. F. Seneca, Ad Lucilium Epistulae Moralis, Volume 1, Epistle XLVI, pp 299–300. G. Tacitus, Annals, 1554, 71. H. Having destroyed the temple, Piso could then have Jesus, whom he was predating to 40 years before the temple's destruction, prophesy the destruction because of the Jews' rejection of him. Matthew 23, 37, 38. I. Roman historians, Suet. Nero 49, and Dio Cassius 63–29. Explain merely that Epaphroditus assisted the emperor's suicide. See also Tacitus, Annals 1555. Footnote 2. J. Tacitus, Histories 114. K. Tacitus, Histories 2, 74–81. L. Tacitus, Histories 3, 2 Footnote 1. M. Tacitus Vespasian relied on Piso because he was grandson of his own brother. Vespasian's brother, T. Flavius Sabinus, had married Arria Sr., who was Piso's maternal grandmother. Piso's identity is thus also a Flavian is decipherable from the appearance in the Flavian family line of L. Caecilius Paetus. Townend, Gavin, Some Flavian Connections, Journal of Roman Studies Li 54, 62, 1961. That was an alias, like Thrasea of Piso's father, L. Calpurnius Piso. See page 20 supra, wherein Piso himself also is mentioned as a Caecilius Paetus. That is the true reason Piso used the literary pseudonym of Flavius. It was not because of his alleged but untrue and hardly necessary adoption by Emperor Flavius Vespasian. He was in fact a Flavian. Piso humorously used the three basic consonants of the Flavian Sabinus name, SBN, in revised sequences for some of his fictional literary identities. 1. Barnabas, who appears in Acts 4:36 and there specifically stated as another name of a Joseph, Josephus. 2. Barnabazo in Antique, 11–207. 3. Banos in Vita 11, the mirror image of John the Baptist. The same device of rearranging consonants was used in recreating Afranius Burrus, the friend of Seneca. Tacitus, Annals 13:14, and therefore of Lucius Piso. He was Nero's praetorian prefect, and then several years before Seneca's death, was himself a victim of the emperor. Burrus reappears as Barabbas, the fictional brigand in Matthew 27:16. N. Tacitus, Histories 3:6. The realization that Marcus Antonius Primus was a pseudonym of Arius Calpurnius Piso is based on these factors. 1. The name in Pliny's letters under which Piso is the latter's wife's grandfather is Arius Antoninus. 2. According to Suetonius, Lives of the Caesars, Book 4:25. Emperor Caius Caligula appropriated Gaius Piso's wife at Piso's marriage. That would have been about the year 36, the year before Arius' birth. Caligula is known to have been a descendant of Mark Antony, Marcus Antonius. Seemingly, Suetonius was teasing at the questioned paternity of Piso's alter ego creation. 3. Tacitus' caustic description of Marcus Antonius Primus remind one of Piso. 4. The idea to call Piso, Antonius Primus, was his own. It was Piso himself in his Jewish War 495 who first detailed Antonius Primus' campaign for Vespasian against Vitellius. Also Josephus inserts, Antonius, himself, as a centurion who dies at the capture of Jotapata, Jewish War 333. 5. Marcus Antonius Primus' colleague in the campaign against Vitellius is named Arrius Verus Tacitus, Histories 3:6. This is yet another alter ego of Piso himself. In the mid-50s CE, while in his late teens, young Piso was a prefect of a cohort of legionnaires in the campaign against Vologeses, king of Armenia, serving there, in Tacitus, Annals 13:9, under the name of Arrius Verus. 6. His exploits as General Marcus Antonius Primus account for his absence from Judea in the years 67 to 69, between his defeat as Cestius Gallus and his reappearing to assist Titus as the siege of Jerusalem in 70. Rather than being Vespasian's prisoner in chains, he was his general, advancing on Rome in his behalf. O. Tacitus, Histories 382-86. Also, the supreme authority was exercised by Antonius Primus. Tacitus, Histories 4:2. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again for more videos.